Today we're counting down the 10 wildest Predator ripoffs that actually deserve a spot on your cult movie watch list. From micro-budget alien hunters chasing teens in city streets to international gems featuring foam suits, TV-grade monsters, and stars cashing in. Number 10 is Star Hunter, a film that proves you don't need a real budget to deliver maximum B-movie chaos. Roddy McDowall, legendary for his Shakespearean gravitas, spends the entire movie in sunglasses, playing a teacher who looks like he's hiding from both the alien threat and the script. The alien itself? A bargain bin Cylon knockoff, armed with a shotgun that never runs out of shells. Fred Olen Ray was called in to rescue the movie with just $11,000, cobbling together 30 minutes of new footage using friends, garage props, and quick daytime shoots disguised as night. Invisible force fields trap teens on LA streets, while the CGI monster seems to have escaped from a rejected toy commercial. Star Hunter is pure, joyful cheese, proof that resourcefulness and a sense of humor can turn even the shabbiest effects into cult gold. RoboWar storms in like Predator's rowdy Italian cousin, swapping alien hunters for a wobbly tin robot named Omega-1 and a commando squad led by Reb Brown at full volume. Director Bruno Mattei shot the film deep in the Philippine jungle, often without permits, and with a crew fresh off strike commando. The monster suit shakes with every step, looking equal parts Halloween costume and hardware store project. Synth-pop music blares over every chase, sounding like a speak and spell gone haywire. Explosions, machine gun fire, and cardboard robotics fill every scene, all stitched together with the kind of bravado only Italian B-movie makers could muster. Xtro slithered onto British screens in 1983, advertising itself as the anti-ET, and delivering on that threat with a fever dream of latex, slime, and practical gore. The film's signature moment arrives when a woman impregnated by a tentacle down her throat gives birth to a full-grown man in a scene so grotesque it landed Xtro on police seizure lists during the UK's video nasties panic. Director Harry Bromley Davenport leaned into the madness, crafting effects that look homemade but hit harder than any digital trickery. Rotten Tomatoes may clock it at 44%, but nothing else feels quite this unhinged or this unforgettable. Project Shadow Chaser lands right in the heart of 1990s direct-to-video bravado, swapping jungle warfare for a die-hard scenario inside a hospital under siege. The villain isn't an alien, but a relentless android named Romulus, played with icy precision and heavy prosthetic makeup. Martin Covey pops up in a classic veteran actor cameo, chewing scenery, as only a genre pro can. The film's budget went further than you'd expect, with slick stunts, glass-shattering shootouts, and early CGI muzzle flashes that look charmingly primitive today. Mariam Diabo spends most of the runtime as a hostage, while New Image's penny-pinching tricks somehow deliver a glossy finish. Shadow Chaser bridges the gap between 80s pulp and the sleeker hybrids of the 90s, proving that with enough polish and a killer android, even a copycat can shine. Alien Predators is what happens when a Spanish production team grabs a NASA headline, a handful of American teens, and a glob of puppet slime, then throws it all into an RV touring rural Spain. The movie's plot kicks off with real-life inspiration, Skylab's fiery crash in 1979. In this version, the debris doesn't just make the news, it unleashes a space parasite that turns locals into body-hopping monsters. The filmmakers doubled down on confusion, releasing the movie as The Falling in some regions, and blending horror with road trip comedy. Out of nowhere, a flying doll named Talking Tina, complete with chicken legs, shows up to terrorize the cast. Every encounter promises either gooey puppet attacks or a bizarre fatality, all set against the Spanish countryside. It's a mashup of genres, titles, and tones, but somehow, the chaos is half the fun. DNA drops viewers into the steamy jungles of Borneo, where Mark Dacascos punches, flips, and kicks his way through a monster movie that borrows Predator's blueprint, but adds its own wild flavor. The villain is a mad scientist obsessed with resurrecting the ancient Balakau, a dino-demon hybrid brought to life with practical effects and a rubber suit sporting detachable mandibles. Dacascos, fresh off martial arts glory, brings real athleticism to the chase, leaping over swamp labs and dodging claws in fight scenes that outshine the script. VHS collectors remember this one for its swampy sets, clunky editing, and a monster that looks like it wandered off the set of a Saturday morning cartoon. DNA proves that even with a recycled plot and bargain bin creature, a committed action star can turn jungle chaos into a cult favorite. UPN's Code Red. The Rubicon Conspiracy swapped late-night cable sleaze for the strict world of primetime TV, where monsters had to play by network rules. Instead of a jungle, the action unfolds in a dusty African command bunker, with a military rescue team stumbling onto a secret alien experiment gone sideways. The twist? One of the aliens decides to help the humans, flipping the usual hunt or be hunted script. Network censors kept the creature effects PG-13, so the alien looks more like a rubbery cousin of Enemy Mine than a nightmare from Predator. Attacks happen mostly in shadow or off-screen, and every drop of blood is replaced by tense glances and dramatic sound cues. With a budget closer to a sitcom pilot than a blockbuster, Code Red leans into its limitations, delivering a sci-fi adventure that's as much X-Files as Predator, and somehow all the more charming for it. Without Warning arrived in 1980, quietly laying down the blueprint for the alien hunter genre 7 years before Schwarzenegger hit the jungle. On a shoestring, $150,000 budget, director Graydon Clark assembled a cast that reads like a drive-in fever dream. Jack Palance, all gravel and menace, playing a truck stop owner who's seen too much. Martin Landau, channeling wild-eyed paranoia as a Vietnam vet convinced the truth is out there. And Kevin Peter Hall, towering in the role of the alien, years before he'd become the definitive Predator. The film's most unforgettable touch? Flying jellyfish-like creatures that latch onto victims, flung across the woods by monofilament and sheer audacity. Rick Baker, already a legend for his monster work, crafted the alien's head for $19,000. While a young Greg Canham handled the creature effects, skills he'd later bring to Jurassic Park and Titanic. Without Warning didn't just predate Predator, it gave the world its first real taste of the hunter from space formula, elevated by actors who took every bizarre moment seriously. That blend of earnest performances and practical ingenuity turned what could have been late-night filler into a cult classic that still feels ahead of its time. Antonio Margheriti's The Last Hunter loads up on firepower and booby traps but swaps out aliens for the most dangerous prey of all, humans. Shot on a mix of Cinecittà backlots and the dense jungles of Thailand, this Italian-Vietnam War epic throws its commando hero into a gauntlet of rifle-triggered explosives and napalm blasts, all realized with miniatures and practical effects that would make any pyromaniac proud. Claudio Fragaso's script doesn't waste time on subtlety. Every tunnel is rigged to blow, every ambush ends in a shower of debris, and the body count climbs with every squib. The film's infamous rifle trap kill predates Predator's own jungle tricks, proving that human ingenuity and a little Italian bravado can rival any intergalactic hunter. The Last Hunter is a grimy, relentless spectacle where the real monster is war itself, and the explosions are as over-the-top as the genre ever delivered. Bangus takes the #1 spot by going all in on the Predator formula, Filipino style. Instead of Hollywood muscle, a local commando squad treks through thick jungle, hunted by a creature that looks like it was built from gym mats, spray paint, and pure determination. The monster's rubber suit bends and creases with every move, the seams as visible as the actor's effort to keep from overheating in the Manila sun. Dialogue bounces between Tagalog and English, with lines dubbed and redubbed for home video releases, creating a soundscape as patchwork as the effects. There's no shame in the imitation here. Bangus copies the original's plot beat for beat, from the jungle showdowns to the final mano-a-mano standoff, but swaps out Hollywood polish for local flavor and infectious energy. Shot for what industry experts estimate was well under $300,000, Bangus skipped theaters and found life in the wild world of Filipino VHS clubs, where midnight screenings packed in genre fans eager for monsters and mayhem. The film's cult status grew thanks to these late-night marathons, with battered tapes passed around and fans quoting lines that sometimes didn't even match the actors' lips. In a world where budget limitations usually mean disaster, Bengis proves that heart, resourcefulness, and a good rubber suit can turn imitation into a celebration. No other Predator knockoff wears its influences so proudly, or inspires such loyal, laughing admiration. From the foam rubber chaos of Bengis at number 1 to the accidental genius of Star Hunter, this countdown reveals just how far filmmakers would go to chase the Predator formula. Across all 10 entries, the pattern is clear. Tight budgets didn't stop wild ambition. Whether it was Italian directors blending genres in Robo-War, British shock value in Extro, or drive-in proto-predators like Without Warning, each film found new ways to remix creature-hunting mayhem. The most surprising thread? Resourceful practical effects and earnest performances often trumped glossy visuals, making even the silliest monsters memorable. These films qualified by turning imitation into cult-worthy entertainment, proving that creativity thrives under constraint. Ultimately, the world of Predator ripoffs is less about copying and more about relentless invention, where every defective suit or bizarre twist becomes a badge of cinematic charm. These cosmic disasters have earned their place in B-movie history, reminding us that sometimes the best homages are born from pure, unfiltered madness.